We teach math and computer science.
Well,
And then we're doing it.
Oh, cool. Oh, you have a lot of Sean.
Are you at the high school or
High school district.
the whole district?
And escape Philippines, so I'm glad I didn't start sharing the screen. We don't have to share the screen yet. He's gonna share his screen. Okay? So.
Yeah, actually we are. That's right, Ron.
And,
Sometimes you just slide right in. It's nice that you're for the whole district, because we're just kind of like underneath the math
yes.
supervisor, underneath the
Numbers
science
right there.
supervisor, so it's nice to have one person.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First, thank you everyone for coming out today. We're going to start the meeting out with a presentation from CodeHS. We have Alex with us. He's going to give you a little background about what CodeHS offers, some of their different curriculums, and different things that they are doing to support computer science. I think this would be a very neat opportunity to see some of the resources out there. So, Alex, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you.
Everybody big.
Hi.
Camera's over there.
So yeah, I'm just here to kind of talk to you guys a little bit more about what CodeHS is, what are some of the things that we offer on our site, and give you guys an opportunity to kind of play around with it and ask me some questions, as well as to kind of test some of the new courses that we have to offer for next year, which are really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead with a presentation. Before I get started, are people fairly familiar with CodeHS, or are people kind of like beginners or don't necessarily know a lot?
I'm familiar with it. We can see.
Okay, so it sounds like people are slightly familiar. So I can zoom through some of the kind of basic beginner stuff, and then I can get into some more of the nitty gritty. So let me share this presentation with you all. All right. Can you all see the presentation now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so yeah. Just to give a little background on myself, my name is Alex Eacker. I'm an account manager at CodeHS. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I was a former high school English teacher before I started working at CodeHS, and I would define myself kind of as an intermediate coder. So through CodeHS, I've learned a lot about computer science, and through supporting a lot of the teachers that use our site, I've gotten a lot more competent, I think, in terms of coding. So what is CodeHS? It's a comprehensive platform that teaches computer science in high schools and middle schools. Contrary to our name, CodeHS, we also teach in middle schools, which is a really important fact that I think is overlooked a lot of the time. So we have a 6 through 12 web-based computer science curriculum. We offer online and offline professional development and a full software platform with teacher tools and resources. How we got started was basically, it was a couple of guys from Stanford were computer science TAs, and they helped manage and build tools to run the program, and they saw that although a lot of people took CS, there weren't a lot of opportunities for that in high school, and that it wasn't really accessible for high school students, and that was a really big opportunity to kind of develop a computer science program to get more students involved in computer science and give them more autonomy over their career options earlier in their life. That's kind of the start of the company. In this, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the different curriculum that we offer, PD opportunities for you all that are actually coming up this summer. I'll go through the platform a little bit, and then I'll answer some questions. So just to talk a little bit about our vision real quick, one of our core tenements is this idea of read, write, code. Even as early as the 1900s, reading and writing were seen as luxury skills that were only available to a select privileged few. Coding is becoming one of those skills that is becoming unlocked, just as reading and writing have been skills that are now becoming more and more accessible to people and actually necessary in order for you to function as an effective member of a community. Coding is now becoming another aspect of our basic functionality that is becoming required in order for us to be adequate at the jobs that we have. And so when we think about reading and writing, we also think coding is a necessary component to kind of our basic literacy skills. And so that's just kind of some background of how we think about our organization. So, and our reach and usage is pretty incredible. We are in over 8,000 classrooms, and over 600,000 students have used the platform, and over 30,000 teachers are on it as well. It's mostly used in the US, but some schools internationally use it, some in Hong Kong, and some in Australia as well. So as I had said, we have a free everything that we offer is actually free and online, and it's 6th through 12th grade computer science curriculum with over 10 years of high school and middle school courses. We offer a lot of different courses ranging from Intro to Python all the way to AP Java, and I'm just going to talk a little bit more so about some of the courses that we offer. So we have an Intro to Computer, and also if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them as well. We have an Introduction to Computer Science and JavaScript. This is one of our most comprehensive courses, and it teaches foundations of computer science and basic programming. We also have an Introduction to Computer Science and Python that's also can be used from 8th to 12th grade as well. These start with introductory lessons that start with either Carol the dog or Tracy the turtle, and those go with basic robotic commands such as move, take ball, put ball, and I'll kind of demonstrate some of that. And it goes all the way up to kind of in the JavaScript at least, graphics library, and in Python, really learning about different data structures and arrays. So it goes from a pretty simple basis all the way up to the more complex ideas in computer science. We also have a College Board endorsed AP Computer Science Principles course where students build their own portfolio. They explore JavaScript, in the internet bits and bytes. It's similar to some of the stuff that you might see on the code.org site as well. We also have an AP Computer Science and Java course that teachers use as well. This is generally for 10th to 12th grade because it's a little more difficult, and it's got a pre-approved College Board syllabus as well. We use a web-based IDE, so this is auto-grading and works on a lot of Chromebooks as well, so we're really excited about our AP Java course. We also have a web design course that students can use, as well as a virtual reality course that kind of builds off of the A-frame JavaScript library, which requires students to have a little bit of information, knowledge on HTML and JavaScript. And the two courses that we're building out right now are an Intro to Cybersecurity course, which will be launched at the beginning of this fall, which includes topics such as software security, the basics of cryptography. It talks about digital hygiene, so really getting students to understand their identity online and really trying to figure out the ramifications of using the internet and how they can really safely navigate that as well. The other course that we're launching this year is a Making Mobile Apps course as well. So using JavaScript and a React Native library, students will be able to learn the fundamentals of building mobile apps. And so this is something that we are developing, and we actually have previews for that you guys can all take a look at. So that's something that I wanted to show you as well. Basically, we have a pretty extensive curriculum pathway from 6th to 12th grade. As you can see from this diagram, we have a bunch of different courses that you can offer to students across all of the different grade levels. So there really is a lot of stuff on our site, and everything, just to emphasize, is available for free. So teachers can access all of this curriculum and provide it to students for free as long as you sign up for an account. So there really is a lot of opportunity here for you if you're interested in expanding a little bit more. So the curriculum opportunities that you have, or even if you want to give students a little taste of what we have to offer, it's really easy for you to plug your students in right away and learn these and learn some of these different computer science languages. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but basically I wanted to also show you some of the mobile apps and cybersecurity previews that we have available. So if you are interested in either of those courses, as I know that they're very hot topics right now, you're able to see those previews right now for the course that we'll be launching this fall. So if any of you are interested in either of these courses, clicking on either of those links will bring you to that page. And I'll just show you a little bit what that looks like right now, because I think it's a little confusing if you you haven't been navigating it. But so this is our mobile apps course preview. Essentially, the first two modules, if you click on them, there are full-length activities that you can click into, and it will allow you to check out some of those different mobile apps courses. If you notice, some of the lower modules don't have anything in them. That's because it's still a preview. So the only two modules that you have available to preview are the first two. So if you were to click on that link, this is what you'd see, and you'd be able to access these two top modules just in terms of the preview. Similarly, for the Introduction to Cybersecurity, the first couple of modules have all of the exercises available with a couple of things unreleased. but the further down that you go, the less access that you have. So if you're interested in checking out either of these previews, clicking on those links, you can click on any of the available activities here, and that gives you a better sense of kind of what we have to offer in terms of cybersecurity and mobile apps. Does anybody have any questions about, I know I just shared a lot of information at once. Does anybody have any questions about some of the stuff that I just kind of mentioned?
Yeah, how many hours is in middle school course?
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear that.
How many hours would the middle school course entail?
Oh, how many hours? So we have full length, like full year-long courses, and we also have semester-long courses as well, some of which you can use as individual units. So our introduction to programming with Carol is just dealing with the intro and fundamentals of computer science. So that's something that you can do within, you can do it in a month, or you can spend much more time on it as well. So it's really adaptable and flexible for your needs. Does that answer your question?
Okay, yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I realize I'm screen sharing you guys are all seeing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Is there grading built into this?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, is there grading built into the tests and grading?
I'm sorry. Is there tests and grading? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can show you this right now as well. So for every single course that we have, sorry, I'll show this here. Every single lesson that we have has a video, and attached to every single video is a unit quiz. So a simple check for understanding for teachers and for students. And at the end of most units, there's also a unit quiz, which is roughly like 25 to 40 questions. So there are unit quizzes built into all of the assignments. There's also some larger projects as well. So there's supplemental material that you can access that is just full out projects that you could use to grade students as well.
Okay. And is there a teacher's view where teachers can view the solutions to the programming exercises?
Yep. So teachers can easily access the solutions. So yes, the answer is yes. So on every single assignment, teachers have a tab that allows them to see that solution, and that allows you to kind of troubleshoot and brainstorm with your students. There are also auto graders that automatically grade some of the work that students are doing, so that you don't have to spend as much time focusing in on the nitty-gritty about whether or not their programs are actually functioning, and you can look more so about like their efficiency and the style in the code that they're writing.
And does the IDE provide context-based help and tips to the students? Like if there is a syntax issue, would it automatically give you some kind of a dialogue where it helps you through it?
Yeah, so like if there's an issue, yeah. So for example, I can just show you too. So this is one of our basic programs. This is like the first Carol program that we have students run in the JavaScript course. Basically, Carol has a couple of different commands: move, turn left, put ball, and take ball. And so in this activity, you're supposed to move Carol across the screen and take the ball. And so in this case, if I have Carol, right now it works correctly. If I hit run, it'll go through all of the different steps and Carol will take the ball. If I were to kind of delete this one move tab and I reset the code and I hit run, it would show, oh, there are no tennis balls to pick up. There's an error at line 4. So then the student might realize, okay, I might need to add that additional move command to which they can, make the program run. So in the more simple programs, I think that the response is a little more comprehensive because it's very much so taking tennis balls and putting them down and moving, but it also provides recommendations. And we have a debugging feature that is available as well for the JavaScript and the Python libraries.
Are all the units self-paced, or does the teacher unlock?
So generally speaking, with the free version of CodeHS, the curriculum is self-paced technically, right? Their teachers aren't able to necessarily stop the access controls. With the pro version, teachers are able to regulate and unlock which lessons are available to students, which is the simple answer to that question.
And I saw in your presentation you said it works on Chromebooks. Would it also work on an iPad or?
For the most part, it works better on computers. So with just in general mobile, like laptops, it doesn't work as well mobily. So we just really recommend that you use it more so on computers as opposed to iPads. But it does still work. It's just the functionality is a little less ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, if there are no other questions, I'll continue on, or does anybody have anything else? All right. So, oh, sorry, was there a question?
No.
Okay, perfect. So in addition to offering these mobile apps, offering courses, we also have professional development. So it's both in-person and online PD that can help you train. It's not only for new teachers, but it can also be for experienced computer science teachers as well. Some of the things that we go over is how to use CodeHS effectively. For new teachers, it's really about teaching programming with Carol, using CodeHS effectively. But for more experienced teachers, it's really looking at teaching a blended coding classroom, figuring out effective debugging strategies, and how do you get students actually away from the computer. Which I think is a really important thing to focus on, not just so, we're not just fostering students' ability to learn code, we're also fostering their ability to have meaningful discussions and collaborate with their peers. And so that's something that we also value and think is important in terms of some of our professional development. An opportunity that I wanted to bring up to you all is that we actually have an in-person professional development workshop in New York this summer on Thursday, July 19th from 11 to 3 p.m. I'm going to be leading a session alongside Jeremy, who's the CEO of the company, and we'll be talking a little bit more so about programming skills, effective pedagogy, and best practices for teaching in blended classrooms. So if you want any more information on this, you can go to this link at codehs.com/info/PD/in-person. You can learn more about the in-person PD, and also you can sign up and register for the free event. We don't have details right now as to where it's going to be in New York City, but it will most likely be in Manhattan at 11 o'clock. So that's an exciting opportunity for you all if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about CodeHS, or if you use it and you want to get a little more experience using the platform or talking about kind of effective pedagogy in the classroom.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So I had signed up to go to it, but
Okay.
Everyone gets invited, or is it like you're only picking a certain amount of people to attend it?
That's a really good question. At this moment, I believe that anybody is available. Anybody who signs up for it is allowed to go to it. That being said, I think if the number was, if like 500 people signed up, I think it'd be a lot harder for us to kind of navigate that, and in which case we would have to change things up. But as far as I know at this moment, if you signed up for it, then you're able to go.
Hooray! Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so aside from the PD and the curriculum that we offer, we have a lot of different teacher tools and resources that are built to save teachers time and to support meaningful instruction. And so I'm just going to kind of briefly go over some of those tools, and then I can highlight some of those things as well. That's what people are interested in learning more about. Basically, we have a teacher toolbox that allows you to really make your classroom run more smoothly, from progress tracking to lesson plan resources to grade books and code review, and creating your own playlists and courses, and being able to check from a plethora of problems that other teachers and CodeHS staff members have created and contributed to. Right? We have progress tracking, which allows you to see multiple progress views from all the way down to the activity that a student is working on, to higher level to the units that students are working on as well. That allows you to divide students into groups, allow for more one-on-one support, and dive into really student assessment performance. We also have grading tools which allow you to kind of compare the student code to the solution code and fast grade, so that any work that you want to oversee and look at your students doing, we have really comprehensive ways for you to easily grade those things as well. We also have a grade book that allows you to see your student progress, to give grades and export files to CSV and Excel so that you can put them in, your school system's grade books. We also allow you to build custom content so you can really create whatever class you want from more experienced teachers. This is a really good way to create your own playlists and activities that supplement the materials that we offer, including videos and unit tests and exercises with auto-graders built into them. And we also have auto-graders that check for student work. So, if a student's problem is not working correctly, they can easily look at the auto-graders to make sure that they work, and students can submit the work and it won't be submitted accurately until the auto-graders work appropriately. So those are some of like the basic features that we offer on the site. And really the teacher toolbox is a way for you to really unlock your abilities as a teacher and become more efficient as a teacher in regards to teaching computer science, because ultimately it's a lot sometimes, and we want to make it a little bit easier on you. So something that if anybody is interested in creating an account, it's super easy. All you have to do is go to codehs.com/signup/teacher. And all you have to do to get started is put in some of your information, and it's free to create an account and really get started to look at some of these different tools that we have available to you. And so this is, a really easy opportunity for you all to kind of access some computer science curriculum that you may not otherwise have been able to access. Any questions about some of the toolbox stuff? I know I can, like, if people are interested in signing up right now, like just to free accounts, I can help people kind of set up with that and really figure out like how to set up sections. Otherwise, I can demo a couple of things if people want to learn a little bit more about some of the cool features that we have on the site.
Most people don't have devices here, so maybe if you could just demo some of the features on the site, Alex, that'd be great.
Got it. All right, that sounds great. So I think so I've got a bunch of different things I could look at. Just thinking about it here. Adam, is there anything in particular that you think would be really useful to show?
Maybe some of like the quiz bank questions or some of the test questions, so we get an idea of the level that the questions would be for the students in some of these.
Yeah. So sure. So I'll just go to kind of the quiz bank. So we have a series of different questions that teachers have access to. So, if you're teaching, and I'll just show you right now kind of what this looks like. So as a teacher, you have a teacher account, and that teacher account shows your different sections. Your sections are just, which students that you want in that section. As a teacher, though, you also have access as a student. So when you click on the student tab on the side, this allows you to kind of do the exact same curriculum that your students are working on beforehand. And it looks the interface is exactly the same as a student versus as a teacher. And so some of the activities that we have here, right, it starts off with Carol, as I kind of showed you, right? The simplest programs are kind of move and take the ball, right? So it's something as simple as this. And it gets a little more complex to become, creating functions with for loops and while loops. And, you can create activities such as this where Carol is building something a little more sophisticated, all the way to what our final project is for the Intro to JavaScript course is creating Breakout as a game in the JavaScript graphics library. And so this is something that we kind of build through that. And so in the courses, let's say that let's say you're in one of the units and your students are kind of struggling with for loops and you want a little bit extra practice, going to the problem bank would allow you to kind of develop some of those skills. So in the problem bank, right, we've got over 4,000 problems that teachers can choose from. They can filter that by programming language and by programming type. So if you want it to just be Carol activities, which is the dog, or the graphics library, you can filter by that. And so if I filter that, it'll show me just all of the different problems that are available to teachers, created by other teachers and by CodeHS staff members. So, you know, this is a problem that's been upvoted a lot, that's been viewed a bunch of times. So if I click on this, it'll show me the description of the problem. It'll show me the starter code. And what I can do is I can add this activity to a playlist that I might have already created. So this really allows teachers the autonomy to add to the courses that we offer. And you can also build your own problems as well. So all teachers, no matter the access that you have, can use our Create tab. Sorry, I'm just trying to pick that up. In our Create tab, this allows you to build your own courses and playlists. And so here I've got a playlist that I've been creating right here. And it allows you to create your own quiz problems. It allows you to create your own exercises and even create your own auto graders. So if I wanted to just do this test problem right here, I'd create something called a unit test and maybe make this a JavaScript problem. Here, what I can do is I can say return a square or square. I want to make the square number. Create a function that squares a number. Then what I can do is I can create the code for that. So I can give students the starter code like this. And then what they'd have to do, they would see this right when they write it. And then maybe I'd have my solution code here like that. And then I want to save that code. So when students start in, they'll see this starter code. They won't be able to see the solution code. But now that I've created that solution code, I can create auto graders. So I can add a test case. So if I want this problem to square, you know, the number 5, I can do that. If I want it to just be a really large number, I can also make it a negative number as well. And so students will be tested against these auto graders. So if I went to go view that activity to just take a look at what it looked like, it would say create a function that squares a number. And if I went into that, it would show exactly the starter function. Now, if I were to just check this right now, it wouldn't work at all, right? But if I tried, you know, the correct solution, if I hit check unit test, all of those are going to work out properly. If I only change that to be return 5, right, then none of those would work. Let's say if I did 25, one of those would work just because of that auto grader, but all the rest wouldn't. And so it's really easy. There's a lot of functionality for you to create your own problems and really create auto graders that are going to help you save some time on grading. And so it's really easy for teachers to really just plug in and use this and immediately assign this to students regardless of what their course, whatever course you're using. Did I go through that quickly, or did that kind of make sense to people?
That was good.
Cool.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the problem bank is a really useful tool that teachers can have access to. In terms of the progress, I can show you a little bit more of what that looks like, or just like what the queue settings. I guess the lesson plans are really important too, so I can show you a little bit about that. Really, we offer these lesson plans that are available to everybody for the first couple of units, where it shows you, you know, objectives, all of the activities within that particular unit, the solution references, problem guides, vocab terms. We provide offline handouts as well. And we also have teaching and learning strategies that teachers can use, as well as video slides and modifications. So if you have students with special needs, or if you have English language learners, we have modifications that you can use in order to make this a little more accessible to those students. So we really have built out a lot of resources for beginner teachers, right, for in terms of the lesson plans and the handouts, and for some more experienced teachers in regards to custom courses and building out some of the auto graders and exercises that teachers want to use. Is there anything else that you kind of want me to demo or look at right now, or can I field some questions, or are people feeling pretty good about just kind of what CodeHS has to offer?
Do you have anything for middle school blind students?
I'm sorry, for blind students?
Blind, yes.
As of now, we don't have anything that's specifically tailored towards blind students. I mean, our videos, obviously, they can hear, but we don't have anything built up directly for that.
Okay, thank you.
So you mentioned the pro version of this. What would be the difference between, I guess, the free version and the pro version?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So on the free version, all of the curriculum you have access to. So nothing changes between the free and the pro version in terms of you as a teacher and you as or your students being able to access any of the curriculum. The big difference is in the teacher tools. So a lot of the teacher tools that you have access to are available via the pro version. So the lesson plans are available for like the first 10 units or for the first 10 lessons in the free version, but they're not available all in free. But in pro, you have access to lesson plans across every single course. For create, you can only create 2 playlists. If you have the free version, you can create unlimited ones. If you have the pro version as well, you also get an account manager that helps you out in terms of supporting you through any issues that you might be having, or helping you figure out a course pathway that you can build with your school and help with debugging problems and helping with some technical support issues. So the pro version is really like where the bulk of the teacher resources live, but some of them still exist on the free version as well.
So from the student side, it would be the same?
Yeah, on the student side, things are virtually the same. It's really in terms of like teacher tools that things change. If you want to have access to progress, grade books, and the fast grading, which makes it more efficient, those are all things that are available on the pro version that aren't necessarily available on the free. But students don't see a difference at all, regardless of what you're using.
How much does it cost for the pro, or do you need like a school license?
So the cost is dependent really upon your school, depends on how many students you are going to be using, whether or not you're going to do a district license or a site license. I'm not someone that actually deals with the costs directly, so I'm not the best person to ask on that, but I've included someone on this email thread. I mean, not on this email thread, on this presentation, I've included his email. So if you have any questions about pricing or getting a more fleshed out demo, you can email him.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do you provide the pro version to teachers for evaluating so that they get to see everything?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? It's hard to hear.
Is there an evaluation copy
The
of
pro
the
version.
pro that teachers could, test to see if they're interested in buying the pro?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do pro trials for teachers all the time. So once again, that's the expertise of our account executives. So if you were interested, you just have to email Brian, whose email I have on here, and he can set up a pro trial for you pretty immediately for you to test out all of these different things. It's generally like a 2-week to 1 month long pro trial that you can use to determine whether or not you care about the teacher tools and the resources.
And I believe all your plans are 1-year plans. Do you have short-term plans also, like say we want to do something in summer, do you have it?
No, right now it's really like a year term. So whenever we do contracts, it's for an entire year. We don't really do mini contracts at this point. But I'd encourage you, if you're interested in that, using the free version at least. All right. Well, is there anything else?
I think we're good over here.
But thank you very much.
Perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of show you all this stuff. I know I just talked a lot. I would have made it a little more interactive if I could have. But I want to leave you with a couple of things before I leave. First off, if mobile apps and cybersecurity are areas that you are interested in, I highly check out these previews. These courses will be launched in the fall, and so please feel free to check those out if you're interested. Also, if you're interested in getting a more detailed demo, or if you're interested in learning a little bit more about pricing, please reach out to Brian at codehs.com. He's the account executive for New Jersey, and he deals with a lot of East Coast schools. He's a super friendly guy. He'd be really interested in helping you all out and talking about anything like that. If you have any other questions related to anything else, or even if you have demo and pricing questions, you can always feel free to reach me at alex@codehs.com as well. And if you're interested in learning more about the professional development opportunity, please feel free to reach out to me as well. And lastly, one thing that we have is we've got this really cool, students are actually able to build their own apps using CodeHS, and we actually have there's like a pathway for them to build apps on the iTunes store. So I'd encourage you to check out some of the apps that we've developed using CodeHS and kind of understand that this is a process that students are able to take as well. We walk them through the steps of submitting their programs to the iTunes store or the App Store if their programs, are working properly and, they're a little more sophisticated. So that's another neat thing that I just wanted to show you all. Thank you all so much for having me, and feel free, remember, to just reach out if you have any questions.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks again, Alex.
All right.
For those of you that are watching online on the YouTube channel, if you could just put your names in the chat so I can mark you down as attended. Thank you.
We're going to do some chapter business. Now we're actually going to have another presentation tonight. We'll try to get through the chapter business quickly and get to the fun gadgets over there in the back. Yeah.
So Alex's whole presentation is in here, by the way. All those lovely screens.
When I talked to him, I'm not sure if the preview for the cybersecurity and the other one are available that on the website. So you might have to go to our notes and actually click that link. I don't know if he set that up for us because he was presenting, or whether that's just out there on their website.
Did everybody sign this?
Right, so the first business we got to do is we have to approve the minutes from the March meeting. So you have to have been here in March.
I was here in March.
All right.
I need to write down who motioned? Just say it out loud because I played that.
Motion to approve the minutes from the March meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
And second. All right. New members, it seems like everybody here's been to a meeting, yes?
I never have.
Never been to a meeting. All right, you gotta introduce yourself.
My name is Kelly Klinovich, and I teach at Academy. I'm the first year computer science teacher there. I will take it as much as I can.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Did you sign up for CSTA membership?
Was I supposed to?
I will send you that, Kelly.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll just send me back your member number when it comes in.
Okay.
Okay, like as soon as you sign up, they're gonna send you an email with a member number and just.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, we'll get you all set with that.
This is my first meeting also. I'm John Olson. I teach at Township High School. I've been a CSDA member for a long time. This is my first meeting. I've been able to make it through this one. I'm happy to make it out for you guys.
All right, just some things, we see this over and over, just all different areas where we have information being disseminated, our website, Facebook, Google Community, Twitter, all kinds of good stuff, get the information out there. As always, if you are doing things or have things in your classroom or projects outside of school, professional development that you want to share that you think is neat, you share that with us. Michelle does a great job kind of keeping all this stuff up to date. I feel like she finds out stuff we're doing without us even telling her. I was like, wait, that's why
That's
you find
cool.
something? I'm like, where did that come from? So definitely share that so we can get that information out there. Go right into some shout outs. We'll start with Michelle. Michelle is attending the CSTA National Conference in Omaha. She actually received 2 scholarships to attend.
But I can only use one.
You can only use one. So the Rolls-Royce Scholarship and the Oracle Academy Scholarship.
I did, they were the first ones, so.
Actually, I'm a backup for the Oracle. Yeah, I'm a backup person. Yeah.
So if you
So
turn
if
it
you
down,
get
you'll get
I already asked them, I said, you know, there's 2 other people in our chapter that would love to go. Did you Oracle? You did?
I did Oracle, yeah,
Okay, so, if there's enough funds, if they get enough people from the other chapters,
right.
and they have extra, then they'll let us have the second.
Okay, because I'm not gonna do it unless I get, the money for it. Yeah.
And that's pretty
all
much
in the breast.
so many people that are going are in the same boat.
Right.
So that's my situation as well. So I did tell them that there are other people in our chapter that applied for it, and
Right.
they apply it to them,
Right.
they
That'd be
said they'd
nice.
get back to me.
Yeah.
But no problem.
That's the chapter.
Okay, so now that was the Google leadership, the Google Leadership Summit.
No, I thought we got an email saying to the chapter leaders
Officers.
that there was a scholarship for chapter officers.
There is a Scott, did you apply for that?
No, I can't go, I jokingly.
And
I don't think
asked
that
Adam,
makes sense
did you
for you to
apply?
do it.
I did also apply for that one.
Oh, you did, okay.
And they said that because I did receive the Rolls Royce,
Oh, okay.
if nobody else in our chapter leadership team, anybody else going or? No? And they had any money left over after making sure that somebody from leadership and all the other chapters was coming, then they might give me a few more shekels towards the cost of my trip.
Good.
So,
Great.
I got going, so
Mhm.
that would be very cool. But if anybody else wants to go, is anybody else going?
When's the conference?
The conference is July 6th, 7th through the 10th.
Like,
And then they have, another thing after it. But here's the point that I wanna make, is that every year we say apply for the scholarships, and Lynn says, apply, and they do give them out, so
I got
next
one
year,
last
we
year.
want everybody to apply. And that's, because I'm sure they probably don't give it to the same people. Some of them are for first time attendees, like the Rolls Royce, the Oracle, they're for first time attendees. So if you've never been, maybe it'll be somewhere a little more exciting than Omaha. But just apply, because it is fairly easy to
And
get.
last year, the way, I forgot, I wasn't, the way I got in, I think it was because they had a little contest every day for like a week or something, where it was shoot a video, send me your picture or whatever, and it was right on the CSTA website, and that's how I got in. I had a class that was already.
So you got the Rolls Royce last year?
Yeah, is that what it was, the roll, so I
That's
just,
the Rolls Royce.
oh, okay, yeah.
That's the one I did this year.
Did they already have that though?
Yeah, we already had it.
Oh,
So
okay, I'm
some
sorry.
crazy videos and stuff. The Oracle one is, and the leadership one are a lot easier to get. You don't have to jump through, 5 different hoops. to
Yeah, I
do
thought
it.
it was easy.
But like if you're teaching all day, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's this challenge, you've got to throw together something. You don't find out till the day of what each challenge is, so. It was very good, and I appreciate it.
John Olson and myself were selected to participate in ISTE's AI chatbot pilot program. So our students are doing good stuff about artificial intelligence and Amazon Lex. So we do some coding, get some background on what AI is and how it works using tools that are being provided to us through ISTE and Amazon. So kind of it'd be a neat experience. We just started to get some material for that now. We're putting that together. We were one of 5 schools in the entire country selected, so that was kind of neat, exciting. Plus, we had a couple of computer science students at Eacker Township High School. Won the NCWIT Aspirations Regional Awards. Basically, what NCWIT is National Center for Women in Technology or Informational Technology. They try to encourage female participants in computer science. Basically, it's a application your students fill out. There's 3 to 4 essays, things like what have you done in or with technology? How do you see technology fitting your future aspirations? What was one experience that you really enjoyed? And I want to say the other essay was, what are some leadership things that you've done throughout your school? They are looking for a wide, like a well-rounded student, so it's the neat thing. It's not necessarily this girl that knows the most computer science stuff. They want to see other leadership things. One of the really good things about this award, there's a national win, there's national winners, national runners-up, regional winners, regional runners-up. There are a bunch of schools that offer scholarship money to students that get awarded this. So for instance, if you're from New Jersey, we are down here, we're actually part of the Philadelphia region. I know Rutgers, for instance, you win this award on those 4 essays and a couple boxes, they give you $1,000 a semester.
Wow.
And it's not even anything you have to apply for. You just say, hey, Rutgers, we won, this is what I get. So they do list all of the different schools that provide scholarships. It's not every school, but I tell my students, one, you get a little plaque or trophy, you get a giveaway bag. We are a Philadelphia region, so we went to an award ceremony up at UPenn. So the girls got that. Plus, if they happen to pick one of those schools that offers money, it's an easy way to kind of get some scholarship money.
Was Vicky one of them?
Vicky was a
Oh,
runner-up.
good for her. Oh, runner-up. Oh, okay. She's only a sophomore. She's got a few years. Oh, you don't have to be a senior?
You do not.
Really?
And if you win it as a freshman, like whenever the time comes that you can use the scholarship, it kicks in. And the scholarship does go for everybody. That's what I've been told endlessly, whether you're a national winner or whether you're a regional affiliate runner-up, they consider you quote unquote a winner of the scholarship.
What time of year did they start filling out the paperwork for that? Do you remember?
The deadline, I want to say, is middle of October, so it kind of
Okay.
starts right away. But like I said, I guess it's tough for entry-level students that maybe haven't done anything with computer science. But part of the application too is, what do you do on your own? Like I tell my students, iMovies, or what if you've been editing videos, or you're the person who creates the website and you did a school project, like all that stuff counts. It's not what classes have you taken as much as it is what have you done in technology in general. Kind of wind up finding out like, wow, you guys edit video. Like there's a lot of stuff they do. It's just a matter of pointing it out to them. Hey, you do all these things. Usually it's right around October. It opens up in August, I want to say.
I'll add to that. They do like to see, like, as you said, the broad base, because a couple of my students won in the past. Okay, and, but they like to see they call it aspirations. So if you have a student who doesn't have a lot of experience, but has a great desire and aspiration to have a technology or information technology life and career, then that helps a lot to add to it. So the younger students who don't have as much classroom or practical experience use that to kind of beef up that. So I think that's one of the questions, where do you see yourself with technology in the future?
Yeah, like I said, I've had freshman winners in the past, so it's definitely not just senior students. So that is a nice opportunity.
I have one more question, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is there an equivalent of that for male students?
Not that I found.
They
My male students do not like that. Push is to get the females right now.
Adam, back to the ISTE, you guys qualify if, for a chance to go to national conference, Chicago.
Yes, I was told in the pilot, there's 5 schools. I think they said they'll pay for up to 4 presenters to go. So I think that's individual presenters. I don't know if that's going to mean like 2 presenters from the school or whether that's going to be 1 from each different school. But part of that program is they're going to pave the way for participants in that AI chatbot program to do a poster presentation at the ISTE conference, which I'm assuming they're paying for.
So is there any way we can help you to get there?
I think it comes down to simply, so you go through, they have a couple lessons, tutorials your kids work, and then they're supposed to try to brainstorm an AI or chatbot that helps solve a problem in your school or locally or at home. And basically based on the ideas students generate, it's not necessarily be evaluated on a finished project level, but like where you've taken what you've learned and where kind of you want this to end up. So I think they're kind of basing it on results in a way.
Do they send the student as well?
I don't believe so. It's the team. Those are things I'll have to follow up with those questions.
Because there's a lot of student presenters at ISTE, so it's just.
At our first webinar last Wednesday, so they're kind of slowly getting information out there. There's a lot. What else we have here? All right, Kimberly and the team has got a lot of great stuff going on here. As we saw, I think we put last week too. She keeps her updated more that has all the different activities that she's doing. Her March newsletter is out. Might be something you want to take a look at. Definitely some good ideas there. Always good to see what other teachers are doing in their classroom. So I'm big on kind of just taking ideas from other teachers. Nothing wrong with that. She'll be attending code.org professional development training on the CS Discoveries curriculum in July, TCNJ. Talk about a little more. Let's see here, Google CS First product team, where she helps support the forum and provide feedback to the team. Some information about Scratch here, she said. Scratch will be upgraded this summer. Along with that, CS First videos and materials will be updated. So just some information there that's kind of good, a little insight on that. You know, Scratch is kind of popular with middle schools, kind of getting students started even at a younger level.
You can actually see it now. The 3.0 version came out, the beta came out. Nice looking.
I did.
Yeah, I do. The kids like it. It's kind of more accurate looking, more, a lot of the sprites, not that they've updated some of the sprites, but still the cat. Yeah. Yeah, trademark, that's right. Yeah.
It looks like we also attended a workshop at Rutgers with Mary Ann to learn about Finch robots. What did you think of that? How was that?
I enjoyed it. The only thing with the Finches, they don't always work exactly like, I had trouble working mine, and in my class, I have trouble sometimes, and I don't know if it's cord, the cable doesn't, she says it has to go through a lot of systems. Once you're in a school, it's got to go through that system, then it's got to go through, the actual snap, and then it actually comes. So, but she had interesting things about making it do more than just go forward, backwards. There were different, she got a little technical. So if you could go up to higher kids than just the, sixth grade. It was very informative. Yeah, what's actually more informative is that everybody got to talk about things they do that they think look great in their room. And one of the women talked about the microbits and how she couldn't do a coding class without them. And then I had a chance with Michelle to actually do the microbit, and I totally agree. Yeah, I did the same one. I mean, different day. We went a different day. But so I totally agree. But that was very interesting to see what worked for people.
So the week after you came, we were using Python with the microbits.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that was interesting.
Yeah, I just did the tutorials and, the rock paper, scissor, and shake it, and I thought they were, I put in a grant to win them, so I could do it the next year and could have been. Actually, I put 2 different grants in. I'm like you, Michelle. I'm going for the Ed Camp one, and our school has one. So
apply for everything.
Yeah, that's right.
You never know what
Yes.
falls off the tree.
A lot of these groups seem to be dying to give stuff away.
Where do you find them? Like, I went to the microbits workshop too, and I love them, but our school's broke. So, where do you find all of the different scholarships or grant money for computer science?
We post as many of them as we can find. So like your best resource is our own chapter and what's in all of these things. Like there's a lot of links. We know that there's a lot of links, but each one of those links leads to all these different opportunities.
And are you part of the state Google group? Do you get emails from the Google group?
I'm gonna say no.
I think you
because I-
would know if you did.
Okay, I don't think I
Because it is endless, but it's a part of the free.
did. Okay.
We got you signed up. We get you signed up. Out of here.
One benefit of CSTA membership is we get a lot of emails.
Yeah.
For example, there is this website called growlearning.com. They have got specifically on microbits, Raspberry Pi, Arduino with Python, just like CodeHS. And the good part is, as teachers, we have full access to their content.
What was it called?
GROK, Grok,
Okay.
growlearning.com.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
it's really good, yeah.
Got some signed up. Then we gotta get signed up.
Okay.
We can take care of that.
I think
No,
I-
don't take it.
I think it kind of went like the rest of my brain somewhere else in terms of signing up.
There's all kind, that's
A lot to
everybody
take in.
throughout this.
It's a lot, it's a lot.
Couple other shout outs, our programming competition was awesome again this year. Stockton was extremely helpful in the whole process, we got a list of names there. Thank Dr. Harvey Kessman, Bob Heinrich, Demetrios, Joanne, Teresa, Lynn, Tony, Michelle, everybody kind of chipped in and did stuff. John was even here, helping judge.
Mhm.
That was fun.
I was doing what? So we had over 200 participants, which is great. 18 schools were represented. It was a lot of people. I think when we were just sitting in the auditorium for the meals and when I was looking around and seeing the amount of kids that were interested in programming was pretty wild. I feel like everybody that participated had positive feedback, so that was good. Obviously, want to thank those that provided donations and helped out with just about anything. It's a pretty big venture that we take on, and obviously, much thanks to Stockton because they really do help make this possible. We want to make sure that we thank them.
We try to make sure that they don't have to pay an entry fee, because we know there's buses involved with substitute guest teachers and those kind of things, so try to make it very, reasonable and not charge fees, so all the people that have helped donate really makes a big difference. And
The donation, yeah, that donation
And
form.
just to feed them and whatnot, it's a big help.
Actually, between that and what the students get, everything I've looked, I can't find a free competition anywhere.
Oh, all the other ones are charged? All the other ones in the state?
There's at least a $5 fee.
I never knew that. That's
And
really
most of them
interesting.
charge, and most of them are capped at like
Three
6
students.
kids.
3,
Or
6.
3 kids
Is
on
Rowan
side,
charged? Rowan charged?
So,
and they cap it.
I don't
They
know for
definitely
sure.
cap it. I think they cap it at 6. So they're like, how do I bring 6 kids? How do I get a bus to do a programming competition for 6 kids?
Yeah, so many teachers specifically said thank you, because when we capped at 18,
18.
I could bring my whole class, and that's really nice. I don't have to divide them up, I don't have to split them up. But they do,
We did have teachers who were like, I have more than 18, and I'm like, you're gonna have to do a code off or something like that. That's up to you, which 18 you send. You have to figure that out back on your end.
Right.
Second year, right?
No, this was our third one.
Third.
Yeah.
Because I heard some kids are now training specifically for this competition.
Awesome.
So it's become
Yeah.
popular.
It's a lot of work. Somebody has to put together all the programs, and someone has to, basically help coordinate. So if you have an opportunity to come, even with your students, and you get a chance to help us judge a little bit, that's where we have a pretty big need. It's kind of hard to grow anymore if we don't have, more volunteers at the day. So thank you to everybody who volunteered.
There's a lot of very quick judging. We pressed everybody into service, some of them at the very last minute from leaving, which is great. Demetrios does an amazing job of putting together like this program. It's just astonishing.
And the students have so much fun. We try to put a little something for professional development for the teachers as well, so they get a couple hours competing time.
Where did they actually?
Probably do have a date. I was just thinking about that. It's always gonna be the Friday of spring break, so, I'll look that up and I'll put it on. I'll update the website for that, and at least with the date, okay?
And I
So
know
right
we
now,
got
we're
it late.
planning for the hackathon, so that's this fall.
I know we got it late, but it was a generous check from MRI for $250, but we got it a week after, but I thought that was very nice that they said.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is, because so the money that comes in, the donations, and there's a form right on our website for that. The donations are used for both the hackathon and the coding competition. The hackathon is that one in the fall, the 24-hour event. Which again, we will need judges for that, so we'll put the date in the presentation.
All right, continue on that. We are going to have a little article published in CSTA The Voice, which is their CSTA's national magazine or pamphlet, how you want to look at it. Michelle put that together. It kind of talks about how the whole programming competition. They were very complimentary.
I just submitted it and they kind of reworked it. I submitted Diane's work and they reworked it, so
But it's
I didn't write it.
good to see us getting our chapter stuff out there. We're doing some really great things. So definitely congrats to all of Talk a little bit about the conference. It's in Omaha, July 7th to 10th. There are definitely some professional development workshops. They split up the day into sessions. You go to one workshop, one session, another one. They have all kinds of different workshops. I went a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Definitely a nice opportunity to see like the new cutting edge thing that's starting to come out. So more information, you can go to the website, take a look. Some other PD and resources, these are just our generic things, just really want to point out the CSTASNJ.org is kind of becoming like the jumping off point for everything computer science in the state of New Jersey. And this website links to, I believe, all of the chapter websites, it links to all of the professional development that TCNJ is doing with the big grant that they got for computer science, for building CS capacity. So everything really seems to be jumping off from that site. So that's definitely one you're going to want to bookmark. That's CSTASNJ.org. Some specific professional development opportunities, as I mentioned, TCNJ Center for Excellence in STEM Education is still doing all of their workshops. Part of the Google group, you're getting email blast with it. If you've ever attended a workshop there, you're getting email blast. It is on just about everything and anything you can imagine that deals with computer science, whether it's robotics, whether it's programming in Java, whether it's something as simple as recruiting different groups into your class, building a CS program, doing the capture the flag, cybersecurity challenge, and how to implement it. Everything, anything, computer science. Take a look at this link. You can see all the different workshops. Most of the workshops are at TCNJ. However, they are, sometimes they'll happen in other places. I know they've had some in Drew, I want to say, and Keene. So they are traveling, working on maybe getting some down this way, make it a little more local. We also have webinars through this program. So you can sign up for a webinar. If you're like, you know what, I can't make TCNJ for an entire Saturday, let me sign up for a webinar. They do webinars. And the other thing to note, if you're interested in presenting, there's a link right here where you can propose what you want to present or compensated for your time.
Has anyone been to any of the TCNJ ones? Are they free or does anyone have to
They
pay?
are free, and I've been to like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, they're free.
And Adam's always there. They do feed us. They do feed us.
Free in the future.
They're free and they feed us. It's really nice.
They always on Saturday.
Yes.
In summer too, they have summer ones.
Yeah, so
And
they're all.
and one time it was in Township River. Last year, our doing that was in Township River.
Kim and Tina's going to that week-long one that they're hosting up there.
Discover.
So she was
Is
in
it Discoveries, is she going to?
The one.
So yeah, that's the TCNJ one, all free, which is awesome. Like I said, if you want to present, they're looking for presenters and ideas. Like I said, you are compensated for your time. So it's kind of nice. Rowan's got some professional development going on, makes computer science, earth science, astronomy, and physics. We have that link right here. I think last I checked, that a cybersecurity thing coming up soon. There is a minimal cost, I think, for the Rowan professional development. Next Friday, we have our Computer Science Summit on Scalability and Diversity at Rutgers University. So that's next Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Did anybody sign up for this?
I'll be there. Phil Coltonelli and I will both be there. Did anybody else sign up for that? Okay, you'll be there? Great.
So basically what this is it's kind of a get-together of all the stakeholders in computer science in the state of New Jersey. We just got this email the other night. Say here, there's over 100 people registered, including representatives from the FBI, New Jersey Department of Education, TEALS, which is the group that presented last meeting, Code.org, CSNYC, people from Google and Apple, 17 New Jersey colleges will be represented, and 45 plus K-12 educators. So basically, it's everybody that has a stake in computer science, and it's a discussion on how we kind of continue to grow computer science in the state, throughout the state of New Jersey, and how we also meet the demand and improve the diversity level. There are going to be like breakout sessions. So there's going to be a session on cybersecurity, CS teacher certification, an action plan for computer science education, AP, CS in college, a long list of things. We do one about hackathons and contests, so a bunch of different things that they're going to have at the summit. You can actually still register to go. If you're interested, it may be tough if you're a K-12 educator, because I don't know if you're getting that day.
You said they sent you an email?
Yeah, I got
Like a
this.
response email?
No, this was an email that went out last night about where the numbers are.
Oh, I didn't get that.
That was went to the Google group.
Okay.
All right, so you can still sign up. Take a look. This summer, we have code.org workshops at TCNJ, so this is a little different than the building CS capacity that we just talked about. These workshops are run by code.org people, so people have gone through training through code.org. Full disclaimer, I am one of the principals, instructors. So it's basically you join a cohort for the entire year of teachers. So this past year, I want to say there was about 20 teachers. We met for 5 days in Philly last year, and then 4 Saturdays throughout the year. Basically, your facilitators will go over the curriculum, different highlights, different areas to look out for. Hey, this is a tricky lesson. This is what code.org is saying, how to use it. So they're kind of guiding you through it, and you're kind of part of a cohort that works together throughout the entire year. This is free as well. No cost, right? No cost. The only thing this year is you would have to get to and from TCNJ. Last year, code.org had one of their teacher cons or big conferences in Philly. So they actually put everybody out in Philly. But this year they branched out to TCNJ because TCNJ is a regional partner with them.
And just so you know, the discoveries, they also have excellent facilitators. I enjoyed them a lot. I did this last year, and Marianne's doing it this year. And they also give you a lot of support. We have our own little Google community of discoveries, New Jersey people doing discoveries, and you don't have to have gone through their curriculum to be in that group. So anybody who wanted to teach discoveries, we just kind of reach out and support each other and talk about the lessons. So interested in that.
And I can speak for the same for principals. In fact, our members, it wasn't even myself, the other facilitator, they took the initiative to set up a Google Classroom, and they've shared all their tests throughout the year, all the different projects they're doing, all their different resources. So it is kind of neat once you get a group of people together that are all kind of running into the same issues. Like I said, you do have the 4 Saturday workshops. The nice thing is obviously they're highly encouraged that you make all 4. They are not mandatory to attend. You don't get kicked out of the program if you miss a Saturday workshop. Kind of happens. TCNJ does feed you at those workshops. It's always a bonus. So you can still register for that, but it is filling up quickly. Some other things, there's a cybersecurity workshop at Pace University in the summer. I believe it's 5 days. I did this a couple years ago. You stay at their campus. They sit in a hotel room. So if you're not into the hotel living, this may not be for you.
But it's right at the foot of the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's really cool. It's a great place in New York.
Now, the only issue is the deadline to apply is May 11th. So you have 2 days.
Better than one.
It's better than 1. Better than 5 hours. A couple other things. The Department of Education announced some of their STEM and computer science education grants. There's a link there. I haven't had time to look at the difference between the two, but you can take a look. They're also looking for reviewers. CS Education Experience to help review upcoming competitive grants. Only issue being, if you're applying for a grant, you can't be a reviewer. You gotta decide what you're doing. Obviously, that makes sense. But you can take a look at both of those. Money out there, so where do we get money for these things? This might be something you want to take a look at.
If you're a reviewer and you work for an organization and somebody else is applying for a grant, is that prohibit them from getting the grant? Only because we have like the cluster of people from schools and that would be.
get into that.
Sorry.
Right, so that's professional development. We have our Stockton information here about the Master of Arts in Instructional Technology online. I think that's an awesome thing for those that like I can't get here, that's a struggle. Completely online, affordable. You got the rates right there, so you can always take a look at that. Any comments? Business as usual. We got Makerspace Mondays. Okay, so we got Makerspace Mondays, it's SRI ETTC, those are the dates, all the way through the summer, so might be something to check out in the summer.
Some of those are just regular Makerspace Mondays, but we also do focused Makerspace Mondays where we focus on just like 3D printing or little bits or something specific like that. So I'll update us as we add more of the specialized ones. Most of the special ones for the year are done, and we're building our fall calendars for summer.
The coding series or coder teacher series, we still have a couple left, July 11th, July 26th, August 23rd, some scratch stuff that they work for middle school, even high school, just introducing things, and the micro bits with sort of JavaScript programming concepts. These have been popular.
Yes.
Everybody that I've heard that has attended has found it very valuable, useful, and it helps ease your attention, especially if you're new to teaching computer science. You have some of these tools and ideas. Those
are some more.
Some more technical ones, it looks like.
No, they're part of the series. So we've got the Raspberry Pi. That was a great one. I really enjoyed that one. These are also coming out. Well, April and May. So we have the 2 Junes on there. Starting with the April and May.
Arduino will be fun.
CSTASNJ notes, we've seen this slide before. This is the big thing where we're trying to get one communication. So we're all together. So Northern New Jersey, that's what we're doing. Central Jersey, Southern, we're all kind of getting ideas and sharing everything with us. So we got the Google group. This is the Google group. We'll have to make sure that all members are signed up for it. If you're not, so you can get the information from that. The website, cstanj.org. That's the jumping off point from where you can go to the actual chapters. Right? And obviously they have Twitter and a Facebook for that. April 19th, the NJ DOE put out a broadcast regarding computer science. It contains some information about the laws and legislation that's out there. So you can take a look at a recording of the broadcast if you want a little more to hear where NJDOE is kind of taking this stuff and what they're thinking that is available for you. If you're looking to add or expand computer science programs and you're saying, hey, what's going to be the expectation? We all know that the legislation passed that every high school has to offer computer science. This is going to give you a little bit of an idea of how this is going to be a reality. Right? And just on another legislation note, this email also came out last night, it looks like. On Monday, 5/14, the CS Teaching Endorsement Bill will be heard by the Senate Education Committee. So this is the bill that would say that you would get an endorsement on your certificate, computer science endorsement. It has already passed the Assembly. It's going through, obviously, the Senate now. So if you wanted to contact our Senate representatives, go ahead and do that. Encourage them to support this bill. Last time we were able to get it through the Assembly and the Senate. Just didn't get all the way through the process, but they're kind of working to see if they can get it through because we're going to have teachers or have schools offer computer science. We need to make sure that we have educators who know what they're doing. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So that is out there. Right, just some information from a website of computer science and information system here at Stockton. Different opportunities for students, especially a lot of ours who are local, maybe looking to stay local. It's important that we highlight to them the opportunities that are out there, as well as wherever else they may be looking. Stockton's definitely doing some great things. It's a whole new place already. Got their stuff over in Atlantic City, They do a good job breaking down the difference between computer science and information systems. So might be something you want to show your students. Definitely take a look at it and see, does this fit what you're trying to do? All right, so that's the end of our presentation, chapter business presentation, let me put it that way. Now for the fun stuff, I'm going to turn it over to Joe Dilks, who teaches me over at Eacker Township High School. He teaches PC networking, PC systems, and networking. He does a lot of stuff with robotics and 3D printing, some really cool stuff. He's bought a lot of his gadgets with him in the back there, so he's going to just share some of the projects or things he's doing with his students and his classes. This would be really neat to get to actually see some tangible things.
Does anybody need to take a break? Otherwise, I'll just get started.
Cameron mic is over there.
Okay. I've been teaching at Eacker Township now for 30 years, industrial technology. I've had my hands involved in numerous courses, and I'm currently teaching 3-level courses: PC systems, everything you want to know about a computer, how to build it, how to troubleshoot it, how to load all the software. And second level is about teaching how to build networks, whether it's a peer-to-peer network or to a server-client situation. And then the third level class is advanced, which is advanced networking, server systems, clients, and PC. So I've been doing this now for close to 20 years on this, I think, at this point. And I'm always looking, how do we go to the next level? What are we going to find? And the last couple of years, I've been introducing what I'm calling small units of study. And we're fitting it into my courses, and we have done robotics, and we're getting into 3D design and 3D printing, and we're on the verge of getting into doing VR. Right? So there are the things that I'm looking at getting into, and we have already established and started doing. Last year, we did a small unit of study with robotics. We did the Lego Mindstorm EV3 systems, and we started experimenting with 3D printing, using 3D design using Tinkercad. So I had a small selected group of students that got involved in that, and that's my third-year students. And this year, they got the second round of the small unit of study, and they excelled because they remembered what we did. It was exciting and it was fun. Most of my other level classes, the PC systems and my networking class, about 85% of them have not done any 3D design or 3D printing or robotics. So this is all new stuff for them. We're trying to generate interest of students to branch and go into different directions. And a couple of good examples I can say, you always have one or two kids who kind of drift and they're out of touch with what's really going on. And I'm seeing kids wake up with these 3D projects, 3D printing, robotics, and they get excited again, and it's good. So my intent, hopefully, we are in a transition point right now. I have 4 classes involved in 2 classes in 3D printing and 3D design, 2 classes in robotics. We are flipping this week. And next week, the other group's going to do the 3D design, the other group's get involved in robotics. In my advanced class, we're getting ready to do their exit testing. So we're doing a lot of testing questions at this point. But we're going to talk about Legos first. So and I'm not an expert. I'm really not a programmer. I'm trying to be. I'm getting to that point. But technology and how we do things now. I'm going to start off.
They screen share so that they can see the ones at home can see really quick.
Your text.
I'm just gonna minimize this and get this out of your. Do what you. Just don't close this down here.
If it's easier for you to face the screen, you can do that. Like just, you can move the podium.
This is the project. First step is to open up the Lego kit, look at the different components, look at the motors, look at the wiring, and explain the different components. The one thing I can say about what I don't like about the Lego system, parts drop on the floor, and it's constantly pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. But we've done pretty well with it. In the box, there's a brochure or booklet, and it tells them how to build the first robot. Right, so that's the first step, and they build that first robot, and then with that robot, we're able to put it on the floor, push a button, and it will drive straight. So the first thing I asked them to do is to do a speed test, and we have measured out on our floor in the hallway 18 feet, and they go from point 1 to point 2, and they measure how much time it takes to go 18 feet. The average is about 15 seconds. So they write that down. They want to know why. And I said, we'll get to that later. And the next step is to use the Lego software to write a program, and it's modular. All right, you have action controls, stop controls, sensor controls. All right, and it's all block modules. Have the right wheel turn, the left wheel turn. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. Here's the key. My students have to build their computers every year. They're not using the classroom school computers for internet. They actually have to load the software on their own project computer, so they have to maintain their own computer. So it's offline. There's no online information. So they have to program their first robot, and I'm not really concerned about how they write the program, as long as they can meet the goal. Now, this is a box, and we put stars out in the hallway, and it's a 7-foot box, and we'll start at the start. And the first objective is the blue line. They have to go diagonally across to the opposite corner, okay? Then they have to make a turn to the left on the orange line. And they go to the opposite corner of the 7-foot square and make another diagonal turn, the red line coming back to this corner, and then finally the green line back to the starting point. It sounds simple, okay? But they do a bunch of programs, you put it, and it just goes into all these different directions, right? So what they end up doing, and I got these two particular classes, I got 10 robots, we're running 20 altogether, 2 kids per robot, all right? So we've got 20 robots total. And what they end up doing is they get it to go to the first point, and then they figure out how I'm going to make that turn, and then get to the next point, how to make that next turn. But then what happens is conditions of the floor are unlevel, the wheels get dirty, there's all kinds of factors that have to come into. And over time, the program gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, they're able to complete this pattern, and then they have a program. And what happens is, I said, if I'm not in the hallway, I need proof. So the proof is they dig out the front and they record it, make a video. It's one of the requirements they have to give it to me. And then they show me the video, and they're marked off that they have completed the pattern. The next step is they have to provide me with their program. So they have to take their saved file off their computer, bring it to my computer, so I can have a copy of the actual program. So there's a lot of different steps involved in providing proof, and this is the first level. All right, a little more difficult than thing. All right, so that's one. That's the that project. Next one. Is a 6-foot circle, okay? Second project, they start at the start. They're gonna follow the blue line, and it has to go straight for 6 feet. All right, to get to that point, they have to design the robot to make an arcing curve, come back to their original point. Now, I don't have it in here, but I give them a little bit of play on the outside boundary. They have a 2 to 3 foot range. They have to be within those boundaries there, and then curve back to their starting point. They can turn, follow the red line, go back to the top, then make a right-hand turn, curve, and come back. Okay. Again, it's the same. It's a totally different type of programming because they got curves involved. They still have to provide proof, right? And they have to provide the program. And you know, I'm not really a programmer, so I don't know if this is difficult as I told. But what happens is, and I told them, I said you initially have to try to do this on your own. But then what usually happens, the kids start talking to each other. I said, well, you got to make this to happen, then do this, make these wheels turn, right? And providing an example, the one that does the circle, had the kids program so it do it, and then it doesn't work. Right? This one I can demonstrate later, but this one will actually perform the X pattern, so I can demonstrate that after we're done talking. If you want to see this. Okay? So, and then these are my original diagrams that I provided the students with to do the project. So there are the two programming end of the projects. Okay, and what I'd like to do now is show you the actual video. Not real fast. They don't need to be fast. Now you have to give them a little bit of flexibility. They can't exactly hit the dot perfectly. So you give them like a 6-inch boundary around the dot to make the turns. And again, they got to finish at the end point. And finishes on that point. That may be after 20 tries, right? So these are kids that have not done programming. They have not done robotics before, all right? And they're having fun with it, okay? This next one, these are all good ones, but the other one is the circle. It's not showing up. Okay. Couldn't really control how they videoed it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. This kid is not media club.
Went a little wide on that. Yeah, making you a little dizzy here.
But they're probably so proud of their video.
Now, one of the
They
things
do
that
it.
was really a side benefit was the fact that we were doing this in the hallway, because I really don't have room in my classroom to do it. Kids are moving back and forth in the hallways, teachers are moving back and forth in the hallways, administrators are moving back, and people were stopping pictures or asking questions. So more than students in the classroom, we get to see this all the time. And we still have another 2 to 3 weeks of doing this. So I got the whole next group of students coming out to do that. So there's our 2 projects, doing those 2 programs.
Joe, do you get there and they don't have dots anymore sometimes in the hallway?
I've been very good about picking the dots up every afternoon. The one custodian said something to me one night, and I said, okay, I'll make sure those dots are picked up. Because he does a really good job sweeping that hallway, so I said, I'll take care of that. An example of, if you've ever seen the Lego software programming, all right, there's the modules, okay? These are actions, all right? Rotations of the tire, you have to think about the tire size, how much does it travel in one full revolution, how much of a distance that is, so there's math involved. Determining, okay, I gotta go 6 feet, but how many tire revolutions does that mean? And what type of angle do I have to turn? So these are basic modules for changing rotations and speeds, and there's other, we're just scratching the surface of what it's capable of.
They're drag and drop, and then they put the numbers in the
Yes,
bottom?
yes, and then they find out, okay, this is going too fast, or it's too slow, or the angle's not right, and they can make those changes, right? And they're able to go out and do the testing, and then come back and make changes. And I try to get them to write the first original program, right? It's program number 1, but then when you come back and change it, save it, so it's program number 2. Not that, they don't really get that idea, because they still stacked up their file system, so I'm still working on trying to get them all of that.
Just to elaborate on that too, I actually did this a little bit with my actual programming students. And I think that code is easier to use, but also not easy to use, if that makes sense. Like for some students that block stuff, they're gonna be all in, they're gonna get it. I had some of my best AP computer science A students look at it and just blew their mind as they try to figure it out. So I think it's neat that it's friendly, but also challenging simultaneously. Whether you have coding experience or you don't have coding experience, you can work your way through it.
Okay. All right, these are some photographs that I took while we were out in the home base. Is there a way to advance the next picture?
There should be an arrow, right?
Okay. All right, one of the things.
I want to see you. You're cutting off their heads. I want to see who they are. See if they're any of my kids.
Well, I'm sure that.
We always cut off their heads though. So that we-
Yeah, I know, you have to.
All right, here we go.
I know.
All right,
They're
now,
born.
here comes the
It's all about
final
the
phase of this unit of study. The last project that I have them do is they can freeform design their robot any way they want, right? And they get designed to make it go fast, make it kind of look like a Pixar, right? So there's a lot of different variations of what they wanted to do, and I actually had them make dune buggy flags, color coordinate everything, because once they start moving around, kind of hard to tell who's controlling what. And this last project is the robot's got to go faster. So we know the original robot, as built with the first lesson project, travels 18 feet in 15 seconds. So the first couple tries, they change the motors, they make them run at 100%, or the program, they change it. Then slowly they start to understand, or I drop the hint, maybe you should change the gearing of the motors. Then they found out they can go faster. So by changing the motors and putting big gears on the motors and putting smaller gears on the wheels, that would increase the speed of the robot. So we went from 15 seconds. I said, if you hit 7 or 8 seconds, you're doing good. And a couple kids started figuring out some couple other ways. Our fastest time was 2.9 seconds.
Wow.
So that was, it literally was like flying across the floor. All right, so it was pretty good. But speed is not always good, okay? The last project is redesign it, make it go fast, make it look like a race car, right? And then we went out and actually raced, okay? But in order to race, they had to control the robot. So the last step was they had to use Bluetooth and control the robot with an app, which is free from Lego. And there's like 3 or 4 different apps that Lego makes. Some of it's a joystick controller, some of it has 2 sliders, controls. It definitely works better with your phone. And I didn't bring it, I totally forgot. I had one of the robots set up with my tablet, and it controls it. But the tablet is so much bigger that when you have to move more with your hands, it's actually more difficult to control the robot with a tablet. It's actually much better to have a small phone. Your fingers can move faster, and you can end up having a lot more control. So we have tank treads. We've got one that wants to take off, right? And they're crashing into each other. Right, there's a bunch of them lining up. And what was happening was we would race. I would give them like 20 minutes to fine tune their robots and then come out and we would race. And every day they would tear it apart and start over again. They were just like, I gotta make this thing better. And I said, you gotta stop that, we have to race. So, so we're out in the hallway. All right, lining things up. You recognize any of them?
I'm looking, no, I don't. They also, oh wait, they do look a little older.
These are mostly sophomores, juniors, and seniors. This is my second level program course students, networking students.
That's not the whole class.
No. I have a morning class and I have an afternoon class. So, and the morning is always competing against the afternoon. The afternoon as they see results. Because when I started posting speed tests where who's going faster, because the first speed test was like 5 seconds, and then someone said, I'm going to beat that. And it went back and forth for a while. So we're out in the hallway, we're racing, right? Right, crashing, braking, popping off, all those things, okay? And I would set up different obstacles, so they had to do, we did straight line testing, race course turn, all left-hand turns, or S turns, all that kind of stuff. And then towards the end, I think I have it here. This one, they have a long place. I brought it. This is a good example of the gearing. How they changed this. This was actually cool. He changed the gearing to get the front end to come up better and then get the tires down. It actually worked out really good because he ended up having really super good control, right? And a lot of kids at the end were trying to do that. And it was from a kid, one of those kids I said was kind of drifting off. He's got a lot of issues from home and all his baggage and all that stuff. Just totally woke it up, which is really, really nice.
What is the name of the course that you do this in?
This is the group that currently we're wrapping up is my networking class, which is my second level program. Right, my first level program actually did 3D design and 3D printing. Okay, these guys are going to switch and go into 3D design. So only a handful of those students that we just saw have actually any 3D design or 3D printing. So we're kind of flipping, right? And then I don't think I brought it with me. Now, we did one last event before we start breaking the components down. We wanted to find out whether or not the robot would go up a ramp. We were doing evil command. Okay? We make the robot jump, right? It was only 4 inches. And the robot would go up the ramp and go and flip over on the top side. And I said, well, let's get the robot to go up and over the ramp and land and continue to move on. So I got 10 robots in each class, and the average was, they went back and made some changes and figured out, okay, we need some type of forward bar to keep from tipping over. So they were able to go over the ramp, the bar would catch them, and then level it out, and they were able to move on. So a lot of them caught that. So most of them got that at the end. So we made it very fun and very
Are you planning to take this team to FLL or something?
I have no idea about that. I'm one of those guys that I had a hard time finding time to do all these things because I got my hands involved in so many different things that it's very time consuming. My goal, hopefully, is that we draw enough interest in robotics, 3D design, 3D printing, VR, that we can eventually branch into another subject matter that we can do full time. There are schools that are actually doing this now. The one I know off the top of my head, it has this their 3rd year now. And they're doing 2 levels of robotics at Clearview Regional High School. Okay? The first year is everything about Legos. The second year is all about design, competition, right, and fabrication. So they're actually they're not doing Legos, but they're actually getting the bigger robot projects like Dilks robot competitions. And there's Millville is doing Dilks. Right, I know they hosted a competition back in February, so they are available. Right, it would be nice to do that. And I heard, and I haven't heard yet, Dilks is apparently giving their kid away to education school systems that are not involved. And I don't know which kid it is. I don't know if it's this kit is like the Lego system or it's the competition kit, which is over $1,000. But they're giving it to schools that aren't involved for $36, with the condition that they have to compete at some point. So I haven't yet confirmed it, but I spent an hour today looking for it.
Are there like groups and stuff like for all of that information? Because I don't think that we personally cover a lot of that kind of stuff.
I got this from one of my students who was affiliated with another person that was passing along the information. Of course, it didn't have the exact URL. So I kind of looked around, I didn't want to hunt for it.
So have you tried the online simulation environments for Lego Mansion?
No, we have not. That's something I would like to see is if the right program would have some type of simulation where we could put that program. I have not seen. Not to say they don't. I don't.
Website called GoCoderZ.com.
GoCoderZ.com.
And it's free for teachers. So whatever you are doing, you can do it like in a virtual world.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here's the video.
So I just wanted to add,
Yes.
we are looking next year, roll out a robotics course at both of our middle schools. So that is our goal, as Joe said, to eventually have one at high school, so the kids will learn what they're finding, and a lot of the Legos will be, we are looking into, I know you talked about competition, possibly getting into first robotics for middle school level. Here, so that essentially, a couple years from now.
And here's the thing, with my 2 PC classes, my 2 networking classes, 85% of those students I'm going to see again next year. So I'll be able to take them another step further. Each group has seniors, so they're going to get 1 year. But most of those students are taking my second level or they're going to move to the third level. So I'm going to be able to expand on this. So this summer I'm going to be working on how to make this a lot better.
So how many months do they get to work on this robot?
We've only been maybe 3 weeks tops.
3 weeks.
Okay. So there's the ramp. All right, and the goal is to try to get up and over this. All right, and his helicopter blades are not strong enough to lift it up. All right, but that's the whole point. That I wanted to have fun with it, but I set realistic goals. Right? And it drove a lot of interest. Okay.
So those motors at 1 speed, they just gear it to go faster?
Yeah. If you make some changes, you can do quite a bit. So, let me get rid of that one. I got more in here. Maybe this is the first one. And that was our intent to go up and over a ramp. So if you want, you can think of different obstacles, goals, climb steps, all these things are available. I'm not there yet, right, but I want to be there. Okay. So that's my Lego presentation. And as I said, I'm learning as I'm going. And with kids getting interest, they're going to expand on that. Now within that program, right, I already have what I'm calling level 2 robotics. Okay, we have a kit built. It's called the Prowler, and it's square-based 4-wheel drive. It has a motor controller and stackables, which means that we can RC control it, or we can put a microprocessor in it. We can put Arduino. We can put Raspberry Pi into it. My goal is to get it set up so we can have a GoPro camera on it and control it from our classroom and have it drive down the hallway and for our school's Wi-Fi, so we never have to leave the room, and we can drive it all over the building. And we have that about halfway built. Some of my third-year students have been working on it, and it's a time factor. We don't have everything we need, but eventually we're going to get there. And I like to make projects that are we do again the following year, but if we're going to do it again, let's make it an improvement, right? Let's make it an improvement project. So if you look over there, I got the BB-8. That is available. I got that just before Christmas. It was $150 retail. Well, it was going for like $230, and I almost bought it for $200 at a store. And I went back home, I looked up online, I got it for $150.
Which one's that?
The orange and white one. Okay. And that has a couple different features. It has voice command. So if I tell it to come to me, it will. All right. There is also an infrared sensor in there, so you can set it to follow you. And as long as you do not walk too fast, it will follow you. And then there's the RC control where you can drive it around. I just looked it up online. You can get it at Amazon still for about $95. Okay.
What is it called?
It's the BB-8, which is the Star Wars. Okay. I'll turn it on in a few moments.
Are you able to code it, or is it just
No.
like you're using it?
No, it's designed to be a toy, and there's a controller, and there are the three things that you can do. Drive it like an RC controller. It has voice command. If you say BB-8, it draws attention. If you say come here, it'll come to you. If you say Kylo Ren, it's scared. Okay, so it's pretty cool. I want to take that thing apart. Okay, in the worst possible way. That BB-8, because we looked online, it tricks you. It only really spins this way, and it has a counterweight that goes this way. So when you're rolling this way and you move the motor to counterweight it, that makes it turn. Gives you the illusion that it's really 360 turns, but it's not. Okay. For $150, I can't complain. My nephew, nieces, all Christmas loved it. They all wanted to take it home, and I said, no, this is mine.
Is it rugged? I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy.
because kids are going
The one thing that happens a lot is that if you bang against the wall, the head will fall off. Now, what's pretty cool is there's a magnet system built into it. The head is, what happens is the robot will not run without the head. So what happens when you turn everything on, the magnets sync with each other, and when the magnets go up, there's a switch inside the head that moves up, and then it allows you to have control. Okay? Really drew a lot of attention early in the year, and we have a plan to build our own BB-8, but make it really 360-degree turn. The one problem that I haven't solved yet is how do we build the spear? Okay, so there are guys out there have already designed in 3D how to build the spear. Okay, but we're talking if you're involved in 3D printing, it takes a lot of time to print. Okay, if you guys want me to continue on, the last thing I want to show, you can look at this. I have all 5 of my classes involved in some way in the chessboard project, okay, which is 3D design. Okay. My third-year students helped me design the actual physical sizes of the chessboard as far as the outside boundaries and the squares and the sizes. All right, and instead of just making an ordinary plain square, you'll notice that what we did is the squares that are gray and white are in 3D. So when the kids learn how to take a two-dimensional picture, convert it to 3D, and then we actually printed it. So if you look at it, you'll see 3D images. You know it's somebody, all right? You may not recognize exactly who it is. But an accident happened one of the kids came up and said, "Hey, Mr. Dilks, take the square and look at the light." Turned it around. On the back side of it, you could actually see, it's like a photograph. You could actually see through it and actually see exactly who it was. So what we're going to end up doing is, because of this accident, I'm going to build another box, and we're going to build a light box, and then we can flip the pieces over, and we can play chess on their face, or I can flip it over so it's flat, so the pieces stay flat. So exactly, you'll have to look at it, borrow the light so you can check it out. So right now, that's mainly my first year students are working on, but we had volunteers take pictures, and then we converted them into 3D and then actually printed. Everything over there took about an hour. So there's 64 squares on the chessboard, so there's almost 64 hours of printing, and we haven't even gotten to the chess pieces because their 3D design project was they had to design and make their own chess pieces. Each student had to design king, queen, rook, whatever they wanted. They had to do 3, and it had to be original. They weren't allowed to import or download or bring a file into Tinkercad. They had to design an original piece from within Tinkercad, whatever tools that were available inside that, and they had to follow certain measurements. So I had a white one and a gray one, and it's the same thing. The white one is experimental, and then the gray one was done with a different 3D printer. But next week, we'll actually start, all the 3D design partners are done. We just got to pick and choose which students' objects that we're going to actually print. And I'm estimating that we got 32 objects to print at about 2 hours each, maybe 2.5 hours each. So we're going to be running that printer for at least another 3 weeks. All right, and I try to print within the scope of the day. So we're talking about 7 to 8 hours. Okay, so, and usually I can print 7, 8 squares a day if I'm efficient. All right, so you're welcome to take a look at that. So I don't answer any other questions if you want. All right. Again, I'm just going to, this is a short unit of study, and it's designed to bring their skills up in other areas other than what I'm teaching, just computer systems and network systems, okay? And hopefully be able to draw enough interest that would eventually work their way into, a high school curriculum where we have a project where we do this and leading in engineering, right? And it's a lot of fun. It is time consuming, but it is a lot of fun. And the last part, hopefully we'll be able to do some VR stuff. One of the other goals that we got. I already have a couple kids that know how to design a little bit in VR and with Unity, with that program. But next year, we're definitely going to have an example of project. I like to have a physical product for the students. Okay, I don't want to download just anything off the internet and print it. All right, I want them actually, be part of the project. And with that chessboard, we can take the squares out next year, and all the kids new kids can design the new squares and their faces on. All right, or make improvements, and they can design their own chess pieces. The only thing I can think to improve on any of that stuff is to get a 3D laser copier. They have these lasers for measurements and scanners, and scan objects, and that would be the next logical step to get to. In fact, next week at the FAA, that's going to be one of the things demonstrated. They actually have a professional scanner that's going to be on display next week.
I've not had a lot of luck with the scanners. Like the ones that are handheld only do like so many vertices. So,
what I was told is the one at the FAA, it's on a tripod. It'll scan the whole room in 5 minutes. And then they move it to a different location, scan it again in 5 minutes, move it to another location, scan it in 5 minutes. And then they stitch the whole thing together and done. And it's like super accurate, but it's like very, very expensive. Like $50,000.
Yeah.
So like $50,000.
That's
Yeah, but I'm very curious to see it because I heard about it, but I hadn't seen it yet. So that's next Monday. is their FFA STEM Day.
I want to talk to you about that.
Thank you very much. Anybody has any additional questions, I'll be packing up my show and show you everything.
So I'm just gonna take a quick minute before we go and look at that, just kind of wrap up the rest of what we have. It should be about 30 seconds. Let's see. Just some information here. Our next meeting is gonna be July 25th, which is Wednesday.
Wednesday, but not the second
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
not
because
over
it's
month.
during,
All right, so during tech stock, we usually do it right during lunch, so that's gonna be July 25th in the summer.
so there will not be a webcast unless we do a.
Do we know what, no, there, I might do a quick Periscope for that. That might be it. It will not be a hangout. I don't know.
No, we
like
have one.
during the tech stuff.
Next, lunch, we'll get a timeout, we'll send that out in advance.
We like to invite people.
If you got lost last year trying to find it, we were upstairs, I don't know where the meeting room will be for this year, but I got lost.
That's it. As always, if you have any ideas for presenters or information you want, please let us know. If you want to present, let us know.
Oh, and during that, usually our CSTA members can participate for free if you also help volunteer.
At Tech Stock, I was just gonna ask if you need
Yes.
volunteers.
Because we had that last year, last couple of years we've had it, NJ said it, because we're our host, we're the host chapter, being here, if we have volunteers that are not presenting and want to participate, they can do so. So I'll get details on that, we'll send that out to everybody.
So that's it.
Motion to adjourn?
All right. Seconds. We're good. If you want to check out Joe's toys, it's back.
Good job.
Thank you for coming.
And the other equipment.
Oh, your glasses.
Hey.
These papers.
Oh, did you? Oh, how was that?
Oh, yeah.